Okay. I'm I'm ready to stream. And this is not a stream about eating burgers while looking super weird. This is another programming stream. I like to keep it that way, at least for the time being. And just doing design work again. I've been busy on other projects over the weekend. Managed to get some nice stuff done. So I want to work on the desk and see if I can get closer to a finished design. That will be my goal for the day. Nice and simple, you know. Hopefully, hopefully you can join in the chat and have a nice time. That would be great. All right, let's see here. Let's get this old strange Joe out of the way. There we go. Oh yeah, so this was what am I doing? Okay. This here is the next quilt pattern. I managed to get another one done. I'm not working on this today. I have this. That's not what I need. In a pandoc situation, unimportant. So let me see what I can get going here. Sun is very bright and kind of in my eyes even with the blinds closed, but I'm gonna be okay with that for the day. Let's see. Can't be a very long stream for me today. I have to go to the gym earlier, which I'm not complaining about. I love the gym. But the stream will have to be a bit shorter, so I should really stop puttering around and kind of just get to what I want to be working on, which is, in fact, my desk. So I'm going to go ahead and find desk. Have a look at that. Right. Let's just launch the REPL here and get the ball rolling. REPL type, fig wheel, dev branch, please. Just gotta wait. Oh boy. Uh-oh. Looks like there's an issue. Wrong number of arguments. I can work with that. Oh, REPL connections evaporated. That's a weird one. All right, let's see what I can do here. I've got some semblance of what I need, but it looks like there were some compilation issues there. So let's see if I can get things going properly. So I have to have a look at randomly remove points that's being used in here, I think. Let's go ahead and switch this around, by the way. There we go. So randomly remove points, eh? Points n. And here, that's strange. Oh, this 0 is not right. There we go. Let's have a little look at that. Okay, so that managed to connect appropriately. Let's just make sure I can get into the namespace in the REPL. What happened? Cider error. That's not good. Not sure what the deal is there. Very weird. It does compile and it does run. Does it, yeah, kinda. Okay. Well, let's see what I can come up with for this, but I think I am gonna just restart Emacs. Just to make sure I get the proper REPL that I want. Let's leave that there for now. Just waiting for Emacs. There it is. Almost. There we go. REPL type fig wheel main dev. Let's see if it works this time. Appears to be, yeah, there we go. So now I suspect that this will work when I eval this. Yeah, perfect. Okay. All right, now we're cooking. Now we are cooking. Okay, so that's weird that that line is there, but I won't worry about it. So my next step is all of these blue triangles in this randomly generated sort of mesh thing, I want to take as the basis for creating a bent rod setup. So what's the right approach for that? I'm thinking let's see if I could come up with something for bend allowance with K factor. Oh, Javelin. So this is sheet related. Okay, K factor equation, that'll almost certainly be what I need. Nothing too crazy. But I'll have a look at that. So I do know I'll be bending angles greater than 90. So there's probably even, yeah, here. Okay. Wow, okay, so this is a rather involved calculation, or involved, I'm sure it's not that hard. Might be good to make a function out of that, but Bend deduction. I don't know if these bend scenarios apply for rod. Break bending. So these are all for flat sheet bend allowance. So K factor, steel rod. Let's see what happens here. Maybe Y factor is what I need here. What's a Y factor though? Y factor considers stresses. Okay. Maybe I'm not going to worry about this so much. Oh, K factor is also a different thing in structural engineering. So, maybe I just don't worry about this so much for now. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself anyway, so. Let's just focus in on the design setup for okay, so what I want to do now is create a function that so triplane isn't what I need yet. Like this is not a finished function because it actually isn't doing what I need it to. What does that even mean? Give me a second to explain. Triplane. Okay, here. Triplane component has a lot of the logic built in that I want to have in the triplane part directly. So what I mean by that is for this here, so I actually want to do this. Triplane points, make a new function, define triplane, which takes, for the time being, I'll make it take a width and a height only. And I'll do here, let points be triplane points, which will take the width, height, and the hard-coded 12 and 6 for now. Yeah, leave it that way for the time being. That's not a problem really. So that's the points, and then the triangles is the result of was this whole thing here, basically. goes like this. Yeah, that'll work. That'll be good. So now I've got a list of triangles. For each triangle I want to do, I have to make a new function here, which is what do I want to call it? A bent rod try, and then I give it a triangle. And with that, I can basically, what I want to do here is, given the triangle, I want to produce 3 line segments, which is, shoot, I had a function for that at some point, I think. I forget. Segments. I don't remember how I did it. It's not that hard though, so I'll just do it again because it's not a big deal. What I'm talking about is, so given a triangle, there's going to be 3 line segments as defined by lines is basically partition 2, 1 of take inc count try of cycle try. So that's the lines. That should work, I do believe. And then here you can just basically, I want to map something that's basically a function that'll be yeah, this, I'm thinking along the right lines here. So for each triangle, split it into its lines, and then do extrude along, and then extrude along will be f/extrude already works by taking a shape and then a height. So this will be yes, I do need to do shape try like that, where shape in this case is the 2D sketch that you're extruding along basically. So extrude along will take shape and line. So here what I need to do is I'm gonna do a thread first macro of what I want to do is take shape and then run it through extrude along. No, this isn't quite right. I actually want to do lines. Extrude along doesn't exist yet, by the way. I have to actually make that function, which I will in a moment. So I want to run the lines through, I'll do a thread last, map extrude along, given the same shape every time. I want to extrude along the line that's passed into it, which produces a sequence of lines, which then is converted through reduce, which takes function and then a collection. Yeah, so I can do reduce with f/union, that whole thing that goes through it, and that should give me a single shape as output. It's not complete yet because of various things I need to do yet with the structure, but that should be okay, really. Right, so I am just trying to think where I have to put the offset feature to this, if that makes sense. I'll worry about that later though. So the next thing to do is extrude along. I want to make that function. So, oops, I want to keep that open there. So here, if I make here we go. Extrude along, which takes a shape and then a line. So with that, what does that mean exactly? I have to align I'll leave this, yeah, this will be fine the way I'm thinking about it. But oh, one thing's a little weird here. There we go. Okay. So I could use the distance function to be the height. Let h be, so the height of the extrude is equal to the distance between the A point and B point of the line. So line will actually be, I should maybe do AB like that. So h is just going to be distance AB, f/distance AB, I should say. So that's the height you want to extrude it to. Then A will be the position that you have to move it to. And then the hard thing is going to be, I have to figure out the rotation, rotation transformations to apply in order to get the other side of the extrusion to be aligned with the B axis. And then there's an additional challenge of it still having a degree of freedom, technically speaking, around that line extrude. So I don't know how to manage that yet. So I'll have to think through that. But let's start by putting in the skeleton of this anyway. So h is that distance, and then what I can do is take thread shape, and shape will just be f/extrude because the shape is 2D at this point. I do believe distance works in 3D right away. Oh, of course it's going to be scalar. That makes sense, and it should work in both. Yeah, perfect. No problem there. So shape extrude H. Translate the shape to A, and then F/rotate. And this is the hardest part to discern for now. Just trying to think. There's like a quick and dirty way that I could do it. I suppose if I do B minus A, that translates it so that the line is at going from 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 up to B prime, I guess. And then can I use projection? Then I could use, I'm just thinking F/angle from points. Yeah, I could maybe cheat my way towards an angle by doing a little bit of weirdness. And by that I mean, let's let A be F/angle from points, where the first point, yeah, P1 is going to be, it's going to look like that. And then I have no idea if it's actually going to work, but I'll start there. It'll also technically, it'll only be part of the equation. So what's the right way to think about it? Well, let me start this middle point. I'm going to do F/V minus BA. So that's 0, 0. No. Sorry. I'm thinking. This should be the first one, I think. Second one should be 0, 0, 0. And the third one should just be 0, 0, last of B. Hey, Booch, sorry if I get your name wrong. What am I attempting to do? That's a great question. Not sure if you've seen other streams before, but that I've done, I should say. But I can give you a quick lowdown on what's going on here. Unrelated, I hope you're doing well today. Thanks for tuning in and asking some questions. I do appreciate that. So let me explain what I'm trying to do. I use Clojure. Not sure if you're familiar with Clojure as a programming language. I use Clojure to do some programmatic CAD, which is to say 2D and 3D design work using programming. So I have my own design library that I'm working on, and it lets me build these sort of parametric design documents. So I'm designing myself a new work desk. The desk I have now is a little shaky, and I want to build a new one. So I'm building a design doc to do it. I can, by parametric, I mean I can adjust live in the document. I can adjust certain dimensions that I specify here. And I can, and you can see the result on the 3D, the SVG render thing here. So that's that's the idea. It's not finished, so it might not make a lot of sense right now. But this element here with the blue triangles, I have this idea to make a kind of a cool motif on part of the desk where I have metal rods that I want to bend and weld into triangles and assemble the triangles together and kind of put them in as side panels and along the legs sort of thing. So the function I'm doing here, I'm trying to make an extrude along thing so that I can render the triangles with a rod and the proper bend angles on them. So that's what I'm in the middle of doing now. I hope that makes a little bit of sense. Let me know if you have more questions there. Okay, it does make sense. Seems like a hard way to do it since there are a lot of free CAD softwares around. Yeah, I mean, absolutely, you could use free CAD software to do it. I have different reasons for wanting to build my own library to do it. In particular, I like, in general, the idea of building. Here, I can show you some examples of other documents I've made this way. So this is an older one, but the idea is to kind of build open source designs that have the code and the 3D models built right into the document. And the reason I'm building a library is related to a business product that I'm working on to sell to manufacturers, not to replace CAD software, but to add certain parametric control into components in a bigger manufacturing design. I don't know if that makes a ton of sense, but the idea is eventually you build a script that will make a 3D design parametric once, and then you don't have to model it in 3D software over and over. And you could even put it on a site or something and have salespeople or engineers download a base and then modify in whatever CAD software they do want from that base. I'm not explaining it very well right now, I will admit, but you're not wrong that there's a lot of free CAD software, and it might be easier up front, but I like the idea of being able to publish basically a website that has open designs in that you could push to, say, GitHub or something, and people can modify the code directly and still get like step file outputs, 3D printer file outputs, that sort of thing. And the whole goal is over time. So this is a library I'm using for myself right now, and the whole idea is if I keep making designs in it, I find the features that are really helpful and polish those up a little bit. So in theory, eventually I can get to a point where it's relatively easy to design something with the approach I'm talking about here. I won't deny there's definitely a place for free CAD software and paid CAD software too. I'm not trying to replace any of that. I'm just trying to approach it with a slightly different idea. And this has been done a little bit before. I don't know if you're familiar with the program called OpenSCAD. It's free downloadable software, excuse me, where you write code and it produces a 3D model. So the idea in some sense exists already. I'm just attempting to build up a library for my own understanding, for my own business opportunities, and because I think there's a few ideas I have that are unique. That's my pitch. Additionally, I actually enjoy learning how to program better while doing a project that's still useful, you know? Kind of like writing reports in R, if you're familiar with it. The source explains everything exactly, but you can also play around with the design in the web app. Yeah, a little bit like that. So I know what you're referring to with reports in R. I've not used R for that purpose myself, but that's along the right idea. Another similar concept is Jupyter Notebooks, which if you're familiar with R, I'm gonna strongly assume that you're familiar with Jupyter Notebooks. If I had to guess. I'm not trying to compete, again, not trying to compete with this, but the concept of having prose mixed in with interactive code and models right in there, I think is really quite useful. And I'm drawing a little bit of inspiration from that idea. I have my own dislike for certain aspects of Jupyter Notebooks, but that's not to say they're bad. That's just a personal preference. But the idea is, I think, extremely powerful. And there's no reason what I'm working on can't necessarily integrate with that kind of stuff. But all of this is, I would say, prototypical, me experimenting, me really, I really do think there's power in the idea. The execution is something I'm working on, and that's why I stream regularly, to keep myself working on it. But yeah, OpenSCAD and Jupyter Notebooks, kind of two sources of inspiration. With another one, I worked on this for a while. CAD Query is a Python parametric CAD scripting tool that has integrations with Jupyter Notebook already. So another example of these kinds of ideas working really nicely together. Like this, someone even made, that's a Lego train piece and parametrically designed it. Anyway, I guess what I'm saying is there are already examples out there where people find this approach to be beneficial, and I'm working on my version of this kind of stuff as well. I enjoy it quite a bit. But yeah, the writing reports in R thing is actually probably a pretty good analogy to keep in mind with what I'm trying to do. I am self-taught as a programmer as well, so that's maybe where, you know, things are a little slower sometimes than they would have to be. I'm learning a lot of the stuff as I go, but what I am pretty good at is industrial design and manufacturing understanding. I know how to weld. I've worked at design shops before. So I have relatively good confidence in that side of things, and I've been learning a lot of programming and am more and more confident as the days go by. So I don't know, I also feel like it's a fun way for me to grow my skill set too. But I hope that makes a little bit of sense. I also do have FreeCAD installed. So I've used all of these kinds of tools. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense to you. And to be, yeah, true, totally makes sense. Oh, I'm glad. And by the way, thanks for asking these sorts of questions. They force me to figure out how to give good answers and think about what I'm actually doing anyway. So I do appreciate that. Do you use Clojure at all yourself, just out of curiosity? It's interesting. Sometimes there are people that come into the stream and chat with me who don't use Clojure themselves. I mean, that no skin off my back. It's all, you know, language preferences are what they are. But I'm just curious about that. Let's see if I can make an example of this. So, not sure if you're familiar with FreeCAD at all. It's yet another, boy oh boy, let me pop this over here. There we go. If I make a new document here, I can very quickly, I can insert and create 3D model components there. Nice and easy. open SCAD. Let's do the logo. So that, boy, sorry, this is getting a little cluttered. Okay, here, this is FreeCAD, which is powerful in my opinion because you can create models and export them to step files, which are a neutral format that different industry standard modeling software, they can all open it. So it's a nice neutral interop kind of format. So I can script FreeCAD with Python, and I also know how to control it with Clojure. So my pipeline, I can make the web app view, and I can already get step outputs from my models. So it's not locked into my custom library only. I can export step files with FreeCAD, and I can do all kinds of neat stuff with that. Similarly, I can create open SCAD files and scripts with Clojure as well. There's a library that another Clojure user has created to produce models from Clojure directly. So another really powerful kind of approach. This script here creates this 3D model, and I think that's really cool. So my approach is just a little different, but relatively easy to link it all together anyway. So you don't really lose anything. In my opinion, you kind of just gain, and hopefully I can make it better and better over time. Booch. Sorry, by the way, Booch. Sorry if I'm getting your name wrong. It's sometimes hard to tell. But apologies. I did use Clojure before, but the format and lint tooling is slow because of the JVM. Don't really use it anymore, but it's a fun language. Fair enough. That's a common thread I hear from time to time, that people find the JVM to be a little slow. It was the first Lisp and functional language that I taught myself, so I really learned some cool and powerful ideas from Clojure, so I like it quite a bit. I also like that you can basically write Clojure code, and most of it will also just work in Clojure script directly. I just find it a totally fascinating language. But you are right that some of the tooling and the fact that it runs on the JVM they can be a bit of a turnoff. That makes sense to me. I happen to not mind, and for what I'm working on, it works relatively nicely, and I'm happy with it. I am happy with it. So what, are you a programmer professionally, or do you just do fun side projects? What's going on project-wise on your end? By the way, I ask just for conversation. If you don't feel like answering, that's totally no pressure. But it's fun to hear what other kind of projects people are working on, you know? Always fascinating. Okay. What is good to do here? What was I working on? Oh yeah. So I'm in the middle of making a here we go. Oh, right, I had it up in the bits section here. I'm working on this extrude along thing. It's not going to be complete yet, but I'm just doing the first pass, seeing if my logic even makes sense at all. There will be 2 rotations I have to calculate, basically. So the first one, I'm going to make it, I'm thinking, well, I want to do AZ like that, and then I want to rotate as well around, I mean, it doesn't matter, it could be either X or Y, but I want to do AY like that. And in fact, the way I have built the rotate function, I only have to do it in one call like that. But I just need to make sure I can calculate AZ, AY properly. So this will actually end up being AY. And then AZ is going to be a little bit different. It will have to be just thinking. Oh, actually, AZ will be pretty easy as well, I think. Unless I'm totally messing up how I think about this, but then I can just fix it, you know? Not a big deal. Okay, so this one will just be long x, and it doesn't have to be, it can just be the unit length along there. It doesn't, because I just care about the angle, I don't care about anything else. So I'm just kind of trying to draw this image in my head, and I don't know if it'll end up being correct, but I'll roll the dice and render it anyway, and then I'll fix some mistakes. Hopefully that makes sense. Another question, if you don't mind, how'd you find this stream? You've done some programming for a very long time. Degree is electrical engineering. Do all sorts of stuff. You find it fascinating. Man, that's cool. So I studied mechanical engineering, and I had a certain reverence for the electrical engineers, you know, because at the time, I'm sure if I study and focus up on some of the basics, I could learn the basics of electrical engineering in a satisfying way. But man, at the time, I just remember struggling with stuff like I remember there's a squirrel cage kind of circuit, and I had a hard time understanding that. So, you know, that I'm pretty sure I learned in first or second year at my degree. So you can imagine I would have a lot of catching up to do. But I found I had a reverence for the people that just got it like that. So that's really cool. But you do all sorts of stuff that you find fascinating. I like that approach. I feel like kind of pursuing challenging things that you find fascinating. That's what I try to do. I have a long way to go in a lot of areas, but I think that's kind of a fun way to spend your time and live your life. So that's cool. I like that. I'm into it. I am into it. All right, let's pull the trigger and see if this thing will actually work. I suspect not quite, but putting it on here is a great way to figure out what does have to change. So, what's a good way to test it? I'm going to do well, let's just try this. Try plane. Oh, I haven't even finished this function. Shame on me. Oh yeah, I was asking you as well. How did you find this stream, by the way? As you can tell, it's a small stream, and that's totally fine. But over time, I do want to. You were just browsing? Okay, no, that's cool. That's cool. I want it to grow over time. I mean, I'm not in a rush. I don't want to be annoying about gotta grow. But it's interesting to hear how people do come across the channel. I have no plan or reason or knowledge about how to how to proceed in terms of wanting to grow the channel, other than making more content on like a blog and on a YouTube channel. But just browsing, that's useful information. Yeah, that's all. That's really all. Okay. finish this function, why don't you? So I have the points and the triangles that are from a sort of random grid. And for each triangle I want to do, well, actually, let's just start with the simplest thing here. First of tries. Let's just take that one. And I'll just run extrude, no, wrong function, rod try on first of tries. So that should be the triplane function. And then here I have to change the component, triplane component. This will no longer make any sense because this is a modified function here. So instead, what I have to do is actually, let's just comment it out because it won't work anyway. Triplane component. Let's just do, I'm just gonna do the lazy thing and take the assembly component and just attach a triangle to that by doing, where do I have to modify it? I can actually modify the assembly itself here. Ah, yes. And I can concat try plane. Let's see what comes of that. All kinds of problems. Well, that's not too surprising. Wrong number of arguments. Man, I don't even remember my own functions. Oh, yes, of course. I have to actually do this. Let's do a circle, and we'll do a 1/4 inch. There we go. You have to actually extrude something. Try pane. Man, I'm fat fingering everything right now. Hey, we have success of some type. That's wrong. Wow, big shock. You know, it might make a little more sense for me to do something like this. It's just temporarily just run the triplane function directly. Right, so what is the problem? Let me go back up to here for a moment. I'm just gonna make the circle a little bit bigger just to see if, okay, so we're kind of on the right track, but I've got the classic problem of my extrusion not actually working the way I want. There's a reason for this. I always forget what it is. I believe actually these points are two-dimensional. Is that the issue I've got here? If I run try plane points, they are two-dimensional. That is the problem. I always forget that. One day I'm gonna wire this up in an appropriate manner to either fail with a clear error or disallow in some way me to run a function with just, I either want things to be smart enough that if I run it with 2D points and 3D points at separate instances that it just properly coerces the points into 3D, or make it more explicit, because I run into this problem a lot, and it's purely my own making. Honestly, it's just my own fault. Oops. So if I just do map v add z to all these, it'll add a z value to it all. That should work. Not quite. Thought that would work. Let's try this. Okay, so they're 3D now here. Right, so if I just do, let me just try to tackle this one bit at a time. It's kind of working, but not really. Well, I've got to tackle this. I am just gonna first go to the washroom, and I will be back in not too long. All right, back at it. Let's see. What am I doing? What's going on? What's going on? Let's see. I'm just trying to figure this one out for a minute, and it's very obviously not not working for my brain here. So the distance should be fine, and translating to A should be good in the sense that it'll translate to the points of the It's just, I must have done something wrong with the extrude here. If I do f/circle with a radius of 1, that does produce that. And if I do f/extrude, f/circle, radius 1 to a height of 20, this is not, there we go. It does produce valid vertices here. Boy. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Well, let's take this, give it a shot in the REPL, see what comes up. Let's extrude a circle size radius 1 along the line from 0, 0, 0 to 1, 1, 1. Let's start with that. Okay, it does produce a valid shape here with vertices and whatnot. So that seems to be okay. Let's have a look here. Make it work for me. Let's do rod try f/circle 1. The triangle itself will be 0, 0, 0, 10, 0, 0. Let's see here. Zoop. And 10, 10, 0. That's the triangle. Okay, it seems to work. I mean, you can't obviously visualize this. It's a little hard to understand, but it's looking correct in the REPL. And I just mean in the sense that it is producing these 3D points here. So why isn't it doing that when I try to? Okay, well. These should pop around but still be broken. Come on. Okay, I'm not gonna mess around with it like this anymore. Let me build the assembly back into what it should be. I think legs should still work. Let's just leave everything in there. Oh right, it's still rather broken. Let's fix this up and use the triplane component as a test base, or like a container to hold this properly. That's the smart thing to do. Smarter thing to do anyway. Oh boy. Okay. Triplane points is fine. Rod tri is theoretically fine. Triplane This will break because of this here not existing, and this is where I want to put in a new render here. So try plane is just going to be an object itself, so I can actually just delete all of this. So let obj. Hey Megs, please. Am I writing code for a desk design? Yeah, that's right. Megs, please. This might be a little strange, but do I know you in real life, or is that not the case? No problem either way. I'm just curious. I know people named Megan, and I'm wondering. Yeah? Oh, cool. Well, neat. Thanks for the support then. Wait. Yeah. So I actually know more Megans, so I technically have to make a follow-up question, but no, cool. Good to see you, Megan. Sorry, let me answer your question. Am I writing code for a desk design? Indeed, I am. So this is a work in progress, but I have, yeah, nice to see you. This here is a really crappy looking version of it. So in general, when I do designs, I want to make them so I can control the dimensions of it live, as you see here. Ignore the dots flying around. That's a different problem that we don't need to worry about right now. The height of this can change, and the like I can change all of these dimensions. What I'm working on right now is trying to make a randomized triangle mesh that I could make, like I could bend steel rod into different triangles and make kind of a nice sort of motif of semi-random triangles in a sort of pattern, not along the whole desk, but to make a sort of frame for the shelf part of it. I hope that makes a little bit of sense, but I don't know how easy that'll be to actually build. So as backup, I have, so this is just a metal frame that's going to be, again, this is messed up. The legs are a little bit wrong, and this is not supposed to be on the bottom. It's supposed to be up here, but my code is all over the place right now. I'm working on the triangle thing. That's kind of where I'm trying to focus for a moment. So we'll see how I can get things going here. But I need to actually make it work. Are you able to follow any of this code on screen, by the way? Just just out of curiosity. I know it can be a little bit overwhelming looking sometimes, you know? What am I doing? There we go. Let's just do this. Try plane. Okay, that's the object. Now I'll render it into a component by doing the same thing I did here. That'll work, right? Yeah. Object is this. Try plane instead. Okay. Oop. All right. And Megan, if you're still there, do you want me to show you the code that it took to make the latest quilt pattern? It's pretty crazy. I'm pretty proud of it though. I mean, no pressure. Yeah, you want to see it? I'll show you. I'm proud of it, so it's worth showing, I think. Which one was it? The tabletop one. Yeah. Okay. So here, this is all of the code for the latest pattern. It is pretty wild. So that's all before step 1. It's a lot of code. Now, in fairness, a lot of it is like I could make the number of lines reduced a little bit, and there's a lot of repetitive elements here, but it all was worth it. And the cool thing is it gets easier for the next ones I do, and the next ones and the next ones. So I'm really happy with that. But this document that has all the code in it has 1,588 lines of code. Ish. Probably more accurate would be 1,200 or something like that. It's a lot. But there's a lot of it that I don't like. I can use it nicely in the next one, if that makes any sense. I also, let's see if I have an example. Have you seen the final PDF of it yet? All that code produces nicely this whole pattern. So it's all worth it. It is all worth it. I think it looks great. There's the last one. Thanks. Yeah, it looks good. And the templates came out nicely too, which is important. This is actually a tough thing to get working because this has to be printed true size, right? So that was hard to figure out. Then the back cover, so it's all coming out nicely. And then the next one can build right off of this from step, I think. Basically I just have to paste some more into the middle here, and then it'll work nicely. Yeah, I'm proud of it. It came out really nicely. Things are getting better and better on the code side of things, which I am super happy about. Oop. Yeah, I can use it for the full quilt, no problem. Yeah, that's exactly right. I just, instead of, like, I don't have to rewrite. So basically here, steps 1 through 7 or 8 at least are 100% done. The only things I have to change are right here. These are different RGB values for the colors. I only have to select new colors from these pictures here for the next one. Just put those in the code and it automatically compiles into the document with new colors. It's really simple, and it's new colors everywhere through the whole document. So set up nice and easy. And then it's just a matter of, these are some new diagrams, but again, it's easier and easier to make diagrams now that I've figured out all of the little ironed out all of the kinks in the code, squashed a few bugs, that sort of thing. So very happy with that. Very happy. And now I just want to keep working on this desk. I hope I didn't bite off more than I could chew with this one. I think it'll work out nicely though. Super great. Thanks. It's encouraging. I like that. I like it a lot. So far, you and Ryan are the two that I know about that have tuned in and actually talked on the stream. It's funny that it happens because I just like I have to treat anyone initially anyway as someone who I don't know in real life, right? And just assume I have to just um, introduce myself, say everything a lot of times, to explain everything. It's weird when people in real life come on. Not bad weird, just different. I mean, Jeremy, I don't know if he has an account. Made my username not obvious. I mean, so when I saw that you had followed, part of me wondered if it was you. I didn't know. But I figured there was a good chance that it was you. All right. I do want to get something rendered on my screen here, so I'm gonna attempt to do that now. Okay, try playing component. Let's save this, see what happens. Oops. Not sure that it's working at the moment. What did I do? One hazard of streaming and chatting is that I forget what I was working on. That is not anyone's fault but my own. It just is hazard of the... I ran this function without the right number of arguments. That's just a hazard of the job. Distraction. Sorry. Oh, please don't be sorry. I insist on people talking in chat. It's fun, and it's totally my choice to ignore things and pay attention to my work. It's entirely the point of streaming to talk with people in the chat, so there's nothing anyone has to worry about. Let me do this, not that. I broke it. What have I done? It's trying to load. I love it when I break it. It happens a lot. There we go. It's rendering now. It's not rendering the way I want it to, but that's a different problem. Okay. Let's zoom this bad boy in. Something's really taking its sweet time here. What's going on? Oh, I know. This is not what I meant to do. What I actually want to do is this. Rod try from the list of points 0, 0, 0, 100, 0, 0, and 100, 100, 0. Right angle triangle, nice and simple. Let's render that. It should be quicker. Oh. Yes, of course, I also need to tell it that it's a circle. Radius 1. Let's try that. Hey, kind of works. Not quite. Or not really. That is... It's going to be an interesting problem to solve because I'm lost with what's going on. Maybe if I do this, Maybe if instead of a circle I run it with let's do this. I'll run this list of points. Oh, I have to do it this way instead. Oop, I deleted it entirely. Fat fingering everything today. Okay. There we go. That's the triangle I want. And I run rod try with the shape f slash regular. Oh no, I'm doing this wrong again. No, I'm not. Yeah, this is what I need to do. Okay. Polygon with f slash regular polygon points. Let's do regular polygon points. It needs a radius and then a number of points. Let's make the radius 1 and the number of sides 6. Okay, let's see if this will render any differently for me. Hey, that works, kinda. Here, let me close that bit. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. I just need to now move this, scale this down. Right, so things are looking a little weird, but we're on the right track, which is it's always important. So what I need now is to fix this extrude along function. And suddenly it doesn't work. Let me rotate only AZ. Well. If I do that, see now my zoom's all off. Okay. Do two things here. I am hopping all over the place in my code here, and I'm just confusing myself. It happens. Megan, are you still there? That's okay. No big deal. Where am I at here? Here we go. I'll make the scale of this 3 times, and this I'll just do 20. Save that. There we go. It's a little better. Zoom in, please. And in fact, I can make the zoom like 8 or so. Okay. So there's something going a little bit weird with my rendering approach to cylinders, but that is just gonna have to be fine. Okay, so here I am attempting to figure out how to calculate the proper rotation angles. Right, those are the things I need. Start with AZ. That moves things wildly out of place. It's perfect. let's try this, f/translate. So each of these is currently going to be at, that's right. So 0, 0 divided by height -2, so it translates down. Then I want to rotate the object around. Z is not the right axis to rotate it around, actually. I first need to rotate about y. So let's try AY 0. Then I actually should rotate about the Z axis second, and theoretically that works. Now, now I need to think. Well, let's start with that and see what it looks like. Nothing. Let's kill that, translate. Still nothing. Kill that. Nothing, eh? Wait a second, what's happening? Lost the plot on this one. Okay, there we go. Let's kill those. Let's just get rid of them entirely. Let's do f/rotate. Let's explore how this works here. Yeah, so rotating about Z is meaningless in this context. It doesn't make any sense. Rotating about Y does indeed tip things where they need to go. Okay, I'm thinking about this wrong for sure. Surely this AY shouldn't make things disappear. So there's something wrong with that. Okay, so you know what? It might be 2 degrees. It might be that. That might be, oh, come on. That might be part of the problem. f/2 degrees. Well, that's not really it. Angle from points. And okay, that does give me, doesn't have to be 2 degrees, it should already work. I'm just guessing, unfortunately. 1 degree. 90 degrees. 180 degrees, 450 degrees. Why is it that there's something's not right with this number, and I don't know what, because it shouldn't make the drawing disappear, yet it is. So, oh, here's, in this case, this is wrong, and so is this. If I do angle from points and I make the last 2 points the same, it is not a number. Okay, there we go. That's what I'm doing wrong here. Last of B, I'm trying to make it work the way I expect, and that's not gonna, pardon me, that's not gonna cut it, because A and B are in fact two-dimensional points in this case. So I have to take a different approach. And that approach has to be what? Well, actually, since I know it's 2D and I want to just test that my logic about this is working, I'm gonna manually do this the way I expect it to work. So I'll start with that. This actually has to be last B like that, and that should produce a valid angle now, right? Ooh, not quite. Huh, okay, almost. So B minus A should be a fine, it should be fine as a V minus that's right, yeah. Oh, this is also not last of B, it's nth B1. Hey, we kind of have it right. Not totally. It's a step in the right direction. B minus A 0, 0, 0. Struggling here. Okay, so there's still situations where it's not correct, and that's because this is 0. Okay, so 0, 0, 0 to 20, 0, 0. 20, 20, 0, 0. I am thinking about this all wrong. That's the unfortunate reality of how my brain is trying to process this. Okay, in the case of so there is no Z component to any of this, right? So the way I'm thinking about all of these angles to adjust are not particularly accurate, and that's part of the problem. So is there something I can do that's useful instead in the last 15 to 20 minutes that I have? That's the question I have on my mind. And what I will do is cut that for now. So I have that, and here I want to try fix this circle with the radius has got to be the right radius now. So, well, 0.1875 divided by 2, 09375 is the correct rod width. 9375. Ooh, oh yeah, that's kind of right. And now here, the triplane component, I'm just gonna do triplane 57 by 10, and I'm gonna make it just a connection of lines instead of, well, just a, yeah, I'll start with that, and then I can move it into the right position, and then I can work on the rod extrusion part later. That's what I'll do. But I am gonna go to the washroom for a minute. I'll be back in just a second. There we go. Okay, let's just get this tri-plane component rendering in a way that can be sensible before I get going. That's my goal. That's all I really need. So what I'll do here is get rid of that part. So I have a set of triangles, and all I want to do is reduce them by f/union, where I map f/polygon over the tris. And I think that should produce a valid shape. It does, yes, okay. That's a nice win. So now what might be good is to actually properly put that into the rest of the assembly as a sort of, just to earmark the setup a little bit better. So in order to do that effectively, I have to go into the assembly component, has to be rendered, and I have to fix the assembly component. So to do that, I can, the assembly component itself is fine. I mean to say I need to go to the assembly part. Boy, terminology is tough sometimes. I'm kind of juggling concepts from 3D modeling and concepts from web app design, and there's sort of unfortunate overlap in naming convention sometimes, and I don't know what to call anything. Such is my life. I'm gonna get rid of the legs for now and have a look at the frame here. I won't know the difference. The difference, sorry, I lost track. With difference of what, sorry? Something working or not working? Naming? Oh, of overlapping terminology. Right, so I could actually give a simple sort of example. In the design of, let's say, a desk, right? I would call the leg a component or a part, sometimes a component. But in the idea of web app design and this document that I'm writing here, everything that you see rendered in here is rendered as a component. So the word component means two different things. If I'm designing a physical object, it can be built up of components. If I'm designing a web document, it is also built up of components. So if I have a component that shows an image of a component, you see how that can become confusing, right? Like, is the tabletop component the component in the web app sense, or is it the component in the sense of the design itself? So I don't want to label things like assembly component, because that gets ridiculous. Yeah, exactly. So terms are hard sometimes. And it's also hard to name like designed things, because everything is a bracket or a post, basically, or a lever, or like people joke in movies about a thingamajig and a what's it doodle, like, because it's hard to name things. It's so difficult. I'm not actually complaining though, I'm just pointing out that sometimes I struggle to come up with names that are sensible. It's a tough life. It's a tough life. Okay, so this here is the thing I need to put into the design properly. So let's go ahead and edit the frame. Extrude along will have to wait because I'm not getting there today. I have to go soonish. Okay, the frame. Here we go. Let's try this. If I do try plane, hard code the number for now, that should render into, there we go. Okay. So now it's being rendered into here, all wrong, I might add, but being rendered nevertheless, which is a step in the right direction. So now what I can do is actually rotate it and translate it around. So let's first rotate it about which axis do I have to, about X. So I want to rotate it 90 degrees about the X axis and save that, and it should sit vertical now. It doesn't. What did I do wrong here? I thought that would work. Maybe it does, and I just am having a hard time visualizing this now. It's possible. It's entirely possible. In fact, it's downright probable. Well, let's finish off this by, let's just translate things into place anyway. This should be translated by the same situation as probably these points, I think, are correct. Let's go with that. Is that gonna work? I'm almost correct. Okay, so I want to rotate it 180. Hey, yeah, okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we are cooking. But actually, you know what? I think it's probably smarter not to do that, but that. And in fact, I've got this exactly wrong. It's in the wrong corner. Okay, so that'll be these points instead. That's what I need. And paste that here. Zoop. What? I thought I had it right. I thought I had it on lock. But I am evidently wrong. So I want to take... What did I do wrong? I'm just copying the wrong points by accident. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so now what I want to do is actually find the correct, so this should actually be height, and the width of these will be calculated by the total width minus the width minus the cross section width. That should be the right width. Yes, it is. Okay, so that part of the frame will have all these triangles kind of welded in there. I think that'll look really cool. Now I just need one more on the left side and on the right side, and the front side should remain open. And it would be really cool. I don't know if this is smart or not, but it would be pretty cool to have the bottom also be that. I think that'd be pretty neat. It's gonna be a lot of work, but it looks really cool, if I do say so myself. I also realize it might be fun to do this. If I make the frame components, if I imagine they're gonna be square here, but if I make them out of rod as well, I think that looks even cooler, to be honest. TBH, Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna switch that motif a little bit here. Just a smidge. So instead of this tube cross section, I actually can do if I just call it a cross section, I can do f/circle, 1/4 inch, and hopefully this works. Let's give it a shot. Hey, there we go. Kinda. It looks it's a little hard to read the lines and stuff, but that is exactly what I'm looking for. The rendering is just a little goofy on the end conditions, but that's not a big deal. And I'm realizing actually, so you're changing the frame to a 1/4 inch circular tube. So 1/2 inch, but yes. So the circle function here takes a radius as the argument. So you multiply it by 2 to get the full diameter. And I can change it back pretty quickly as well. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. I could change it back if I want to, but I'm kind of thinking that it'll look better if it's all out of rod, especially because I want the triangles to be out of rod as well. I feel like it'll be a more cohesive design. That's kind of what I'm thinking there. One thing I'm a little confused about is why there's this second thing being rendered in here. That's not what I intended to happen. Is that because of this? It might be because of that. No, it's not. What did I do here? Let's see here. Yeah, I think that'll look good. Yeah, I hope so. I'm pretty sure it will. Okay, I don't know where I put this in the code. It's not supposed to be there, but I'm losing my mind. What did I do? This one's correct. This one's sitting in the middle here is not. I've forgotten where I put that. Oh, it must be in the assembly. Oh yeah, here it is. This is what I don't need. There we go. There we go. I accidentally had a part duplicated. And so the triangles are being redrawn randomly every time I save it. So things look like they're hopping around a lot. I have to make it so that doesn't happen, but not right now. I have to go work out soon. I want to get the other 2 sides on quickly, and then I'll call it a day. Let's go to the frame here. The nice thing is, once you've got the function in place, you can kind of pretty quickly copy and paste your way to success, which I'm pretty happy with, I will admit. First, I shall comment this one out. This here has to be the depth minus this and the same height. That's correct. Ooh, actually the height thing is actually a little bit off, but I'll worry about that one later. And the rotate will also be now both about X and Y 90-90 to get it oriented the right way. And now I just have to move it to the correct corner, which should be this one, if I believe. Let's try that. I think that's right. Zoop. Looking good. Looking good. Likewise, this one is the depth minus the width of the tube, or the rod in this case. Height technically has to be height minus half the width, but I'm gonna leave that for now. And I just now have to get the correct corner to move it to, which is this set of points. I realize what I should have done actually is probably pulled out into the let statement all of these translations so that it makes the code more compact, but cleaning up the way I do the function happens as I iterate through it. But this works just fine. It's not really a big concern at this time. So just have to paste it, make sure it looks okay, and then I'm gonna be done for the day. Ooh, I also need to rotate it properly. That'll be like this. Oh man, I think this looks awesome. Okay, huge steps in the right direction. Huge steps. This assembly, the frame needs to be translated. Needs to be translated in the Z direction. The total height minus frame width 10 in this case. Oh, that portion I added with the triangles is actually the top. Oh, H minus 10 minus T. It's a little hard to see it because you can see through the top, but now this is in the correct position. Let me, last thing I do before I go, I'll change the view of it so you, it's a little easier to explain. But it'll go, it's kind of the top, it's more gonna be kind of like a shelf area under the top of the desk. The top of the desk is still gonna be a wood piece. I'm saving the wood piece from my current desk. Basically, I'm just making a frame with legs that looks cool. That'll be the new desk. That's the idea. Let me get to it for a second, though. Change this to a front view. Oh, I mean right view. Not at all working. Top. Oh. Front XF. Come on. One of these is gonna work. No? Like the inside drawer. Yeah, kind of. I don't think there are going to be drawers on it. I mostly am going to have this sort of, it's probably too tall. I'm probably going to shrink it down quite a bit. What's happening here? This isn't rendering the way I want it to. Probably, yeah, I can't change it right now. Oh man, garbage truck outside. This here, this height for the triangle is probably going to make it shorter, but then it's going to be kind of a thin spot where I could say put a, I mean I have to put a bottom shelf on it or something, but it'll be, I could put like my laptop, my notebooks and pens and stuff like that. So it won't be a drawer, it'll be just sort of an under shelf thing across, if not the whole thing across, say, this part and this part here. Right, gotcha. Yeah, cubby, that's the word. A weird word, but that is fitting to what it'll actually be. I might put a little, I might bend this rod up and down so that I never bash my knees on it, but I'll have to figure that one out. But in the meantime, it is actually time for me to go. I have to do an earlier workout today. Ryan will be waiting for me, so I'm actually really happy with how this looks and how it does properly convey the intent of the design. I just have to tweak things, make them a little smarter in terms of design. Have fun, strength. Strength train. All right. Megan, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it, actually. And anyone else who's watched or is watching and not chatting, I appreciate your views as well. I will be back again tomorrow. So have a good night, and thanks for watching. Goodbye.